Good afternoon. Welcome here this afternoon. It's quite a sunny afternoon here in Cape Town. I was expecting rain this morning when I woke up, but clearly not. It's lovely to be here at the UCT Design School, and it's the 6th edition of the Falling Walls Cape Town. I'm excited to be here. My name is William Suzu, and I'll be your host this afternoon, taking you through a very exciting program. I was here last year for the first time, and there were a lot of innovative ideas. I was a little bit jealous that I didn't go to Germany as well. But it was great to see the innovation from young people, and this afternoon we get to do that again. So of course the Falling Walls Foundation was established in 2011. It's really a great platform for young people and young aspiring innovators to come and present their ideas and show what young people are capable of. And I think a lot of times there's this underestimated view that people don't have ideas. And I think this is a perfect space where young people can present their ideas. And of course also it commemorates the fall of the Berlin Wall, and a lot of walls can be broken through young people, and I think we'll see that here this afternoon. To officially welcome you, I'll now introduce a little bit the Retail Director of the Naumann Foundation. We'll tell you a bit more of why we are here today and tell more about the foundation. Thank you. Let's give it up for Ida.
Must I come up here on the stage? Okay, testing. Okay, thank you very much, William. So good afternoon and a warm welcome on behalf of the Friedrich Naumann Foundation here. It's really a great pleasure to welcome you at this Falling Walls Lab Cape Town for the 6th time here. Falling Walls, really was mentioned to it. So it's the 9th of November is when the Berlin Wall fell. And this is the day when the Falling Walls Foundation is having their big conference. So this is a conference with different parts. And the whole idea is to make business out of science. So, you know, when you're studying at university and there's some professors who are very profoundly in topics, but it's difficult to explain their scientific idea in words which we all understand. So you have that kind of conference where they are invited professors to describe their science in 9 minutes, I think. But they also have all these other formats, and one of them is the Falling Walls Lab. And you are the Falling Walls Lab Cape Town, but that's the big Falling Walls Lab. And the vision of Falling Walls Foundation is to have 100 Falling Walls Labs. I was just asked how many they have now at the 80s, 90s. Huh? So you will have the one who's winning this one, going to Berlin, is under a big competition there in Berlin. The winner in Berlin will also present at the big conference. But already the conference in Berlin, the Falling Walls Lab, will give you a lot of publicity. We can tell many stories as Friedrich Naumann Foundation from what happened to winners of the Falling Walls Lab. There are stories of people who have found financing, who have great networks. So, but not only those who traveled to Berlin, also those who competed. So first of all, congratulations and to all of you who dare and who are so courageous to present your ideas today. I'm also from Berlin, so this is very close to my heart, this competition. And I also came to Berlin to study there after the fall of the wall. And there's the big parallel, of course, between the fall of the wall and the end of apartheid. So this is also something which connects us very much between South Africa and Germany. Yeah, let me continue to thank our wonderful host, the D School of the Arthur Plattner Institute. It's the first time we are here. We're very happy to be here. We feel that this is the ideal environment for Falling Walls Lab, and I hope this partnership will continue. But this is also within UCT, and UCT is also my university. I studied at UCT at the campus at the breakwater, but UCT is very much also my place. And UCT is the ones who also started doing the Falling Walls Lab in Cape Town. So very many thanks also to University of Cape Town. And we have the City of Cape Town. So thank you very much for this partnership today. Well, coming back and forth to Cape Town since 20 years, I really see how the city is changing and how it's more and more becoming a place where, digital nomads, I think a little bit too many are coming and benefiting from this, but also all these brilliant institutions and the ideal environment to found, to have an ecosystem for startups. So we are very, very happy to have the city of Cape Town as a partner here today. Yeah, and the Friedrich Naumann Foundation is, of course, very, very proud to be part of this. As a liberal foundation, we believe in freedom and innovation, but also in the power of technology to solve problems. We all know that there's many problems starting from climate change and all these things. As liberals, we believe that we have to support technology and ideas to solve these problems. We're really glad happy now. Yeah, we want to empower bright minds, and that's what we're doing here. So also don't want to be too long, because this is your stage. I think you're sitting here, the participants. Huh? How many women, how many men do we have? We see. Very good. Is it 50-50? Roundabout? Well, we'll see. So I wish you all a lot of luck, and yeah, we look forward to having one of you in Berlin, and we look forward to your pitches today, and also a warm thanks to the jury to make yourself available. Thank you.
So Inge, thank you so much. Thank you for the work that you do. And of course mentioned that this year we have a lot of partners that's involved in the competition. And I would now like to pull up the senior program lead of the design school you part today, Tiago Unareng.
How is it expected such a young person? May youth take over the room today. So good afternoon everyone, my name is Tiago Unareng and I'm one of the program leads here at the D School, and I'd like to give you a very warm welcome to the House of Platinum D School building. We're honored to be hosting the Falling Walls Cape Town 2025 event here at the D School. And the D School is the first of 3 D Schools, the first one hailing in the US in Stanford, second one familiar ground in Potsdam near Berlin, and we're the third of the D School family over here in Cape Town. Our mission here at the D School is to be a nexus in South Africa and across the African continent for the practice, research, and dissemination of design-led thinking as a driver of innovation and new outcomes. So this makes this event especially meaningful as the Falling Walls Lab and the D School share a common purpose, inspiring and equipping the next generation of change makers to push boundaries and reimagine what's possible. To the students and young professionals here today, we'd like to extend a warm welcome to the D School and any of our additional programs that we run here. And you can talk to us between Junaid and myself on that side to hear a little bit more about some of the programs that we do, but we'll be speaking to you about the Design Foundation program in Design Thinking, our Design Thinking Week, and the Design Thinking in Africa program, where you can learn how to apply design-led mindsets to real-world challenges while creating innovative solutions. So yeah, chat to us on the side over there if you want to find out a little bit more, and that's our only little shameless plug. But as we begin this exciting afternoon of breakthrough pitches, let us celebrate the creativity and the courage that we're going to see here on these stages. Who knows? The next world-changing idea may just be presented here in this room. So thank you very much, and welcome once again to Falling Walls Cape Town, the Friedrich Naumann Foundation for Freedom, and RB Consultants as the partners as well. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Tiago. Thanks for your work as well. I think a lot of times in universities there are discussions around how do you get what's happening in the academic environment to actually be showcased such platforms, and how do you get industry partners involved, and how do you actually get ideas in practice. And it's wonderful for me to introduce the Deputy Dean of Research at Faculty of Science, Professor Eurinah Koeras. Thank you so much, Prof.
Thank you so much, and thank you for having me. Good afternoon, everyone. When I was invited to say a few words at this event, I was drawn in by the name of the lab, Falling Walls. It's really powerful. The idea of a wall took me back to when my children were little. One of their favorite books was this one. What is it called? What is the wall of the wall? And I'm going to start reading just from the first page of this book, which goes, wherever you are, when you open this book, I bet you can see a wall if you look. And so it goes on. And at the back it says, wherever you look, there are walls, straight and round walls, high and low walls, hot and cold walls. But how are they built? What are they for? And when you come down to it, what is a wall after all? So the book tells us that humanity has engaged with walls for as long as civilization, to contain, to protect, to cross between. Walls have multiple functions and take a lot of effort and skill to build, different materials, technologies, and processes. Walls are indeed everywhere. Physically, the Great Wall of China is said to be seen from space. There are two observations that arise. The first is the fact that walls are everywhere. The fact that walls are everywhere doesn't mean that they are necessary or even desirable. Many physical walls, like the now fallen Berlin Wall and the rising Great Black Wall, served and continue to serve political purposes. They create barriers and separation that are physical but also ideological, having deeply isolating and marginalizing effects. Second, so what we see then is that walls and barriers exist also in our minds, ideologically between disciplines, values, and rationalities. Our business today is about showcasing the potential of dismantling some of these invisible walls in order to serve society and the environment now and into the future. The significance of naming this lab must not be lost upon us. In a world facing increasing inequality and polarization, breaking down divides is arguably one of the biggest challenges facing humanity in the 21st century. As UCT, and specifically the Faculty of Science, our participation in the Falling Walls Lab reflects our strong commitment to fostering an expansive culture of research, scientific inquiry, and global collaboration amongst our students and researchers that stretches beyond our traditional ways of doing science, to take questions of social relevance, justice, engagement, and innovation seriously. We're thrilled to host this year's Falling Labs Lab at the University of Cape Town, a prestigious platform that celebrates innovation, creativity, and breakthrough ideas. On behalf of the science faculty, I'd like to extend a warm welcome to all of you. In my remaining minutes, I'd like to reflect on the 5 pillars of the lab and those of the Friedrich Naumann Foundation for Freedom: connect, discover, support, develop, and build. So to start with connecting aspiring innovators, the significance of innovation as a means to break down divides between science and society is clearly recognized by UCT, with the new UCT strategy with our new VC embracing innovation as a 4th pillar alongside research, teaching, and transformation and social responsiveness. Academic institutions play a vital role in nurturing talent and creating dynamic ecosystems that drive sustainable innovation. In 2024, UCT launched 6 new spin-off companies with solutions ranging from clean energy to biofarming, demonstrating how research translates into real-world innovation on the African continent. We are delighted to be part of this Falling Walls platform that connects aspiring innovators locally on our continent and indeed globally. The amplification of innovation from our context is critical in a knowledge landscape that is skewed to making visible smart solutions and innovations from limited geographical locations. Learning from and with one another is part of the expansive worldview we're trying to develop. Secondly, discover and develop talents. A significant part of participating in global initiatives such as this one is a reminder to us and to the world that innovation is not the preserve of the global north. Conditions of scarcity in the global south have always provided fertile ground for innovation. In these contexts, innovation and development of appropriate technologies that are accessible in terms of physically, cost, environmentally, etc., have always driven change. So what this platform provides is a site for the amplification, for the making visible of the incredible work that our young scholars have been engaging in at UCT and across South Africa and the continent, in ways that result in learning opportunities globally. What I hope we'll begin to see is a breaking down in the divides between how we think about innovation in polarized and power-laden ways, with assumptions about the direction of learning between the global north and south, and rather begin to move towards a more global understanding of innovation that is context relevant. Given the youth bulge in South Africa and the high levels of youth unemployment, These inspiring cases have the potential to catalyze a real shift in our thinking around youth, innovation and employment in service of society. It's wonderful to see that we have some school learners amongst us. I think they're in the room behind us there. And I hope that you're inspired by what you will hear today. Some of their work will be on display too for us to engage with later on. Thirdly, support interdisciplinary dialogue and international cooperation. At UCT, we recognize that by collaborating across disciplines within our university settings and working closely with government bodies, the private sector, civil society, universities can enhance the real-world impact of research. However, working in inter- and transdisciplinary ways across disciplines and beyond the university are new ways of working that require the dismantling of many walls, not just in our disciplines, but also in the traditional structures that universities are built on, including reward structures, how and where we publish, the kinds of research outputs that are valued, the ways in which we teach, where we teach, and with whom. There are fundamental shifts that need to happen at different scales to support such non-traditional work. At the level of knowledge ecosystem that shapes the higher education enterprise globally, but also at the university support system level, HR, financial systems, ethics, procedures, how students register in different departments, etc. And these systems and practices really shape the kinds of research that can be done, and the nature, as well as the nature of the students that we admit, and how we in turn shape them through our pedagogies. Again, the platform these partnerships provide for highlighting the significance and potential of working across and beyond the higher education sector is an important catalyst for the systems changes that are required. This is an opportunity that must not be overlooked. Fourthly, developing new ways of scientific communication. Inter- and transdisciplinary work require us to rethink how we communicate, to whom and for what purpose. The value of the academic publication as the holy grail of academic life is up for question in contexts where research outputs and outcomes are of relevance beyond academia. In this bold and important move to innovation for society, we need to ensure that outputs that don't generate an H index are also seen as legitimate academic pathways. New ways of communicating that are commensurate with the changes in society are needed. In a post-COVID digital age, we have become addicted to our smartphones. Scrolling through the socials has limited our attention spans. This context forces us to rethink how we communicate effectively. The 3-minute pitches that we will see today are, of course, part of slotting in with these shifts in society to make science more accessible to society. But don't let the 3-minute pitch fool us into thinking that simple format is actually a reflection of the months of labour that has gone into these projects. To the participants, we see beyond your 3 minutes. Thank you for grappling with this challenge of condensing your complex work into bite-sized morsels and digestible morsels for us to enjoy. And then lastly, reflecting on the theme of building new and strong networks. Hosting the Falling Walls Lab allows us to highlight the remarkable talent within our institution and connect them with a global network of innovators, industry leaders, and change makers. Last year, the Falling Walls Global Call received over 1,100 nominations from more than 300 institutions worldwide, highlighting the immense scope and impact of this initiative. Each participant uniquely contributes to this vibrant data set of ideas, collectively pushing the boundaries of science, technology, and society. Whilst none of us can argue with the significance of building networks and partnerships for innovation, what we perhaps don't spend enough time celebrating and reflecting on is the time and effort it takes to work in such relational ways. Trust and relationship building is a slow process. Innovation and working collaboratively is not rapid-fire scholarship. In addition, the soft skills, or as some colleagues like Janice McMillan works in this building would call them fundamental skills, as well as leadership skills needed to do science with and for society, requires a rethinking of how we train our young scientists and an upskilling of those who do the teaching to support the ability of our youth to build these networks. The mortar and bricks required for the building of networks are in need of redefining. And then finally, I just want to conclude by thanking you for joining us on this exciting journey of taking down the divides and walls that limit our imaginations. We extend our best wishes to all the participants as you share your visions and discoveries. To our UCT participants in particular, we are especially proud of your dedication and courage. Regardless of the outcome, your passion for innovation and making a difference inspires all of us. We look forward to witnessing the fascinating ideas that will emerge and celebrate the achievements of our talented participants. The time is now for expansive ideas. Disciplinary walls need to open up to give us clearer lines of sight beyond our vantage point of universities for the common good of all of humanity. Thank you.
He's a professor, so he would draw a book. Thanks, Prof. It looks very simple, but the message was very strong, and I think that's what we also see here today. Even though the presentations are short, it's really deeply researched, the hard work, as you've said before. Next up, I'm calling up the Executive Director for Future Planning. I've never heard of that. Andrew Sergeants from the City of Cape Town. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's a great pleasure for me to be here today representing the City of Cape Town, and I'd like to send you the best wishes of the Executive Mayor, Jordan Hill-Lewis. He's well aware of the event and sends his warm regards and best wishes to all of the participants here today. So, future planning, you haven't heard of it, so what my team and I do in the City of Cape Town is we consider the data, the demographic data, the economic data, the downscale climate data, and lead the capital infrastructure planning for the city over the next 25 years. And in a couple of weeks' time, Cape Town's 2050 plan will be approved by Council. It's recently been out for public participation. But among other things, we also scanned the horizon for the weak early signals of disruption and then prepare the responses and the programs that are required to get us back onto course when things go wrong. Things like COVID or the day zero drought and the similar. Innovation is also in our portfolio, in our directorate, and we lead the organization's approach to innovation. In fact, 2 years ago, innovation was chosen as one of the 5 renewed values of the City of Cape Town. And we even chose a specific and unique definition for innovation in our context, and I'll read it to you quickly. It says, innovation in the City of Cape Town is the fostering of a sustainable organizational culture that stimulates creative thinking, calculated risk-taking, and the implementation of new ideas for optimal service delivery and infrastructure development. And for us in government, that calculated risk-taking is really the key thing. We work in a very compliance-driven organization, highly legislated, but we're trying to encourage our teams more and more to be able to take calculated risks for better and more optimal outcomes. We're also recently, because we're trying to drive this culture of innovation, have benchmarked ourselves against the ISO standard on innovation management, making us the first city in the world to be benchmarked against the ISO standard, which gives us a roadmap now for the various pillars and enablers of innovation that we need to grow and address where they are deficient in our own organizations. We take our own staff, our own 31,000 staff, on a journey with us. I'd like to thank everyone who came together to make this event today possible. It's wonderful to be here at the D School. We had a number of partnerships already with this institution. Wonderful to be partnering as well with the Faculty of Science and also with the Friedrich Naumann Foundation for Friedrich. I think partnerships are very important, particularly, they've always been, but particularly at this time in our own country's history as we seek to maximize the impacts we can have between government, business and civil society and academia. Lastly, I'd like to wish all of our participants here today the best of luck. Thank you for innovating. Thank you for wanting to share your ideas with a wider audience. Many of these ideas address some of the most critical challenges that we face in the world today. And I hope that many of them will go on to full implementation over time. And to the audience, thank you for supporting this innovation journey as well. Thank you.
Thank you for all the work that the city is doing, and it's great to see that the city is doing future planning. And as you said, I hope some of the ideas that comes up can help the city with some of the critical challenges it has, and hopefully it takes things further. Now I think it's time to see what the future holds. But before I do that, I'm just quickly going to call Kwesi to just quickly give a brief of who our jury is, and then we'll take it from there. Kwesi.
Please take that out of the video. Good afternoon, everyone. I hope everyone is well. Thank you so much for coming. My name is Kwesi Sogoli. I'm the program manager of the Friedrich Foundation. I've been in communication with almost everybody here. Sorry for spamming your emails, but I guess it worked because you guys are here today. Just before we start, I'd like to introduce our judges quickly. I'll start from my EF, Dr. Eurinah Koeras from the University of Cape Town, Marissa Mlota from the Design School, Dr. Siyawonga Mbane from University of Cape Town, Monica Blegnolato, is that correct? From City of Cape Town, and Kua Solomon from Green Cape. Can we have a round of applause for our judges? And just want to wish good luck as well to our participants. I know they're feeling quite stressed, but I'm sure you guys are going to do well. And thank you so much to our judges as well. Ladies and gentlemen, please also enjoy today's event.
Thank you, Kwesi. Should I carry it down? Great. Are we ready to witness the future? No one seems ready. Are we ready to witness the future?
Yes.
Cool. So, 10 finalists in the room, and they have 3 minutes to come and present their great idea. And I am super excited. So first up, we have Courtney Hodgeson, and her idea is breaking the wall of ending tech-facilitated gender-based violence. It sounds very interesting. Let's give it up for Courtney.
So tech-facilitated gender-based violence is when acts of GBV are committed, aggravated, or aided through digital platforms. Hi, I'm Courtney Hodgeson, and in April of last year, I was assaulted by a man I met on a dating app. When I tried to report him, he had already unmatched, and this left me with no option to hold him accountable for his actions. My story is unfortunately not unique. In 1 year, the South African Police Service recorded 53,498 sexual offences. 5,578 of these cases resulted in the death of a woman. Dating apps allow anyone to create a profile, leaving hopeful singles vulnerable and unprotected. In a country where GBV is already at epidemic levels, these platforms lack accountability. Survivors are left without recourse, and prevention remains almost impossible. That is until now. Introducing Checkmate, a verification plugin for dating apps. Most of us have had to show our ID at the door of a club. If you are underage or you're not allowed in, you're stopped at the door. Checkmate works exactly the same way. When someone signs up, creates a profile, and accepts the app's terms of use, they're usually prompted to enter their ID or scan their face for facial recognition. Checkmate then cross-checks this information with government sex offender and criminal record databases. If someone is flagged, opt from creating a profile, just like being turned away at the door at the club. Checkmate is not a private background check. It's a universal, discreet, cost-effective, standardized and fully automated safeguard that works across every single dating app. It creates accountability, restores trust, and keeps users safe. This shifts the focus from reacting after an incident of GBV has occurred and helping not make harm happen in the first place. With checkmate, survivors don't have to choose justice and chase it. Known perpetrators are stopped at the door with full proceeding on. Thank you.
Thank you, Courtney, for sharing your story and also your idea. I'll now give an opportunity for the judges if anyone wants to ask a question.
Yeah. Just to check, so if it is a very education school and you say also because cross-border, so does it check against other regions registering? So
Yeah, absolutely. The idea is that it needs to be able to plug into whatever government database is coming from that specific country. And obviously a lot of dating apps do have cross-continental matches, so we're hoping that that will be plugged in as well. It has been done in Australia, but those partnerships were paid for partnerships, and when those contracts ran out, they simply removed that option of the dating app, which I think it shouldn't be a money problem, it's actually a people-centered issue.
Thank you, Courtney. Could I just understand, is it already in development? Has it already been created? And then is this very much reliant on the accuracy of information in SAPs? Because sometimes that data can potentially not be all that updated.
Great question, thank you. So this actually started as a design thinking project at the University of Johannesburg. So we've got a beautiful team of all female students that are busy working on this. One student, Ahlisha Chetty, is part of the coding side of things, so she's developing all the code behind that. So I'm the creative brain behind the project, and we're all kind of joining forces on this. And in terms of making sure that the information is correct, obviously that is a big thing. Recently there was an app that came out called T, where women could kind of out their last partners and give information, which that really becomes a Salem witch trial situation, because how do we believe the validity of that information? So I think it's really important for us to have solid partnerships with police, for example, so that we know that the information that we're getting is correct and accurate. And that happens when design thinking, as well as government databases and the people that are actually in charge, all work together so that the information is correct.
Great, thanks. Thank you so much, Courtney.
Thank you.
Friends, I now have the opportunity to introduce Charne Verster, her title, Breaking the Wall of One Size Fits Nobody, Barefooted Barriers. Thank you so much. Let's get it for Charne.
What if the very shoes meant to carry a child safely to school were the same shoes holding them back? Good afternoon, judges and fellow innovators. Let me ask you, what am I holding up? Many of you will say, it's just a school shoe. But no, this is not just a shoe. This is a world-first innovation. A breakthrough designed to break down one of the most overlooked barriers to education. Did you know that for over 70 years, the design of school shoes has stood still? Today, that changes. We created Smart School Shoes, the first ever adjustable growing school shoe. Durable, protective, and smart. A shoe that grows with your child, lasts for years, and keeps them safe every step of the way. We visited Langa Township, where we listened to parents and teachers speak about a simple yet urgent issue. In South Africa, millions of children walk to school in shoes that no longer fit or are falling apart. This is not just a footwear issue, it's a barrier to education, a financial strain on families, a risk to children's well-being, as well as a strain on early foot development. Here's how Smart School Shoes changes all of that. Our patented shoe is made from 100% locally sourced, genuine leather and designed with a dual adjustability system that allows the shoe to grow up to 3 sizes. The wide ergonomic toe box supports natural foot and bone development, a feature missing in 98% of South African school shoes today. To keep children safer, we've added a reflective heel strip for visibility and a discreet GPS smart tag embedded in the tongue. This is more than just footwear. It's wearable tech, child-focused design and social impact, all in one. It empowers children, eases financial strain on families, and supports 11 SDGs with smart, sustainable and scalable solutions. Judges, this is not just an innovation. It's a disruption. An industry that has been stagnant for decades is finally moving forward. So I ask you again, when you look at this shoe, will you see just a shoe? Or will you see the future of school footwear? I invite you to war with us, to help fund and bring this innovation to life. Together, we can create a future where no child is held back by their shoes. We need you. Parents need you. But most of all, children need you. This is Smart School Shoes, built for growth, made for greatness. Thank you.
Thank you, Chetty. And I need an opportunity for the judges.
Hi, that was really good. My question is quite simple. How much do they cost 1 unit to produce?
So to produce, currently we're not in production. These are our prototypes. We do have a provisional patent, but we have a 6th iteration coming out. Our selling price is $479. We're able to we know the cost prices of our materials, which is actually quite low. So just to give you an idea, your most popular school shoe in South Africa is the Tuffy school shoe that retails at $379. And then locally in the Western Cape, we have Buccaneers that retails at $530. So we're right in the middle.
Great. One more question, please. Same question. So no other questions? Great. Thanks, Charne. Thanks. So now I have the opportunity to introduce the third participant of the list, and it's Rahul Rama-Panchia. And his idea of breaking the wall of childhood abuse and vulnerability. Let's give it a hand. Hey, bye-bye.
Imagine a little girl, barely old enough to spell her own name, already burdened with hurt from secrets that she can't yet name. And the story isn't rare, because it is the reality of 1 in 3 South African children who will experience physical or sexual abuse. And what's worse, only 10% ever report what happened to them. And so while they suffer in silence, the adults around them are ill-equipped, lacking the time, tools, language and knowledge to discuss the importance of boundaries and speaking up. And so the cycle continues. Not just here in South Africa, but around the world, children are left vulnerable and alone when they need protection the most. And so how do we break this wall of childhood abuse and vulnerability? I'll tell you. With Street Smarts, an interactive AI-powered mobile game designed specifically to teach our children about bodily safety and speaking up. Partnering with NPOs, educators, and child psychologists, we aim to empower parents and children by turning playtime into prevention. Finishing in the top 6 globally at Harvard University's Health System Hackathon this year, we are developing with cultural context, creativity, and sensitivity. Now, played with on-screen touches, at random points, children will interact with characters in the game. These interactions, however, will simulate serious safety scenarios, but in a child-friendly manner. Leveraging proven cognitive reinforcement techniques, the neuroscience also confirms that young minds do learn from the repetition of observational and reward-based learning offered here. And so, depending on how the user responds, safe decisions allow them to continue and play the game, while unsafe or risky choices require them to restart or play in a more difficult version of the game. All of this is then tracked, tagged, and flagged by our AI model, and via a parent dashboard connected to the game, caregivers are then notified via summary about what the child understood, what they didn't, and where more learning is needed. And on top of this, they will also receive age-appropriate, clinically approved conversation prompts to discuss these critical, complex, real-world issues with their small ones. At the end of the day, though, we recognize that child abuse is a complex systemic issue, and we don't claim to solve it. But we do aim to break the cycle of silence and shame that allows it to persist. More than just a game, Street Smarts is a preventative tool in the hands of the next generation, where we will use AI to make safety second nature, consent a conversation, and silence a thing of the past. Our country needs us now, and all it takes is one decision, one conversation, and one child at a time. Inkosi kakhulu. Bye now.
Rahul, and then again the judges. First of all.
You mentioned around cultural context. I think you were speaking about your other pitch. Can you explain a little bit more around that? And then also, is the game open access? Is it a downloadable app? Yeah,
So currently the game is in development. Our MVP should be done by around November. And then in terms of the different cultural contexts, we recognize that in South Africa, whether you're based in Cape Town or from Johannesburg, there are different issues that are pervasive in different regions. And so in Cape Town, it might be contextually or culturally appropriate for kids to understand matters surrounding gun violence and gang violence, whereas in Joburg, they might be a divorce issue, and so forth. I hope I answered your question.
Thank you for your presentation. Child abuse is not doesn't discriminate when it comes to age. So you came, what age groups would be appropriate?
So initially when we were thinking about ages from 4 to 12, but in terms of scalability, we realized that it can really extend up until from 4 up until 18, where somebody's legally classified as an adult. And the game would adapt depending on the age, because at different levels, literacy rates, language used, all varies on their age and region. So that was where the games were. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rahul. Let's give it one more time for us. Friends, now you can give it to Lex. Now the opportunity to introduce Timmy Joji and his idea, breaking the wall of avoidance using virtual reality therapy to solve our mental health crisis. Let's give it up for Timmy.
Hi there, everyone. The 2022 International Mental Status Survey found that 38% of South Africans are struggling with their mental health. Compare this to the World Health Organization report that suggests that we only have one psychologist or psychiatrist treating 50,000 people here in South Africa. Now, add to that the fact that only less than 5% of our total health budget is being spent on mental health treatment. You can see that there's a problem here. This results in less than 25% of those requiring treatment for mental health problems in South Africa actually receiving treatment. The problem is that South Africa is in a mental health crisis. One of the potential solutions for this is exposure therapy. Exposure therapy allows for a clinician to guide a client into a simulation where they are exposed to a triggering situation or environment that often triggers difficulties with regards to their mental health. They're then assisted by the clinician to develop healthy coping methods to be able to manage their mental health difficulties in this situation. The challenge with exposure therapy is that even though it is highly useful and successful at treating mental health difficulties, The logistics of having a client and a clinician going to a certain location for treatment means cost, time, and sometimes safety issues. And this is where virtual reality exposure therapy comes in. My team and I use virtual reality headsets like this one over here to provide virtual reality exposure therapy to clients. And we do this by creating virtual reality simulations of real-world situations that are then used to provide exposure therapy to clients. We are currently finding that the efficacy has been significantly comparable to traditional exposure therapy, and large-scale international meta-analyses suggest that there's comparable efficacy for virtual reality traditional exposure therapy. So what we've been able to do is to collaborate with Life Vincent Pallotti Hospital here in Highlands, just about 10 minutes down the road, and we started our own virtual reality therapy lab there. And what we found is huge success, and we're also partnering with Stellenbosch University to be able to provide research and design our own simulations. Thank you.
So you can stay.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Timmy. Can I ask, how scalable is a solution to, this is obviously exposure therapy for phobias specifically. How scalable is it for other treatments?
Quite scalable. So phobias, OCD and anxiety disorders, exposure therapy tends to be pretty much gold standard treatment for these. However, we've seen a lot of efficacy in the treatment of PTSD and trauma, which is used extensively in the US, particularly with war vets. We're also seeing a lot of success in the treatment of other conditions, substance abuse, which is also quite prevalent here in South Africa, as well as all sorts of other phobias, as mentioned. But we're finding real scalability for the use, and the key thing is that we can also offer this in group setups. So part of the reason why the cost is significantly better than traditional exposure therapy is really because we could scale it to group setups and provide these services in all sorts of provinces around the country.
Thank you. Guys, can you give one more time for Tim? The pleasure of introducing our next presenter, Joelle Tsopze, and her idea of breaking the wall of sustainable horticulture under drought stress.
Hi everyone. I'm sure I don't have to convince you that climate change is real and effective. Imagine just walking in the morning, just wake up in the morning and find out that you lose all of your activity because there was no bird disease. Look at that farmer's spending. The coming 25 years are going to be very high, particularly for African countries. The level of vulnerability of our community are going to increase. The level of food insecurity are going to increase. This is going to pose a serious problem, which means less food to feed the overgrowing population. But if I tell you that part of the solution of this problem resides somewhere in South Africa, in the region of Mpumalanga, with the existence of reservation ground, so what is reservation ground? Because these grounds are placed in the dry or die state for several weeks, months, to years, and come back to life after 24 hours of radiation. We suspect that the microbiome associated with this plant is playing a big role in the survival. In the cross-dress lab, we used the soil-back transplantation technique to see if the microbiome associated with this plant is really powerful. Then we found out that if you grow maize in the microbiome of that plant, you have bigger leaves and bigger root system, which means better photosynthesis and better nutrient uptake, which is going to mitigate the drought. Then we cannot collect all the soil in South Africa to solve the problem of agriculture in the world. We therefore use the white screening of beneficial microbiome, and we successfully isolate 2 S4-5 bacteria in 3.14 Combining those 2 bacteria together, we managed to increase the growth of sorghum during drought stress. At the end of the day, we significantly increased the yield of sorghum under both hydrated and drought conditions. And this equipment has been used so many times to confirm that by bioengineering the microbiome of this plant, we'll be able to break the wall of sustainable agriculture in the area of climate change. Thank you.
Any questions?
What challenges do you foresee when it comes to different plants like that?
Sorry?
So what challenges do you foresee moving forward, giving different plants that we use for food source?
So, I mean, you can hear in China, we can't really use soil that we will call it, so we bioengineering specific plant for it. And then look at the question.
One more question.
So how do you get to use this? So if you will look at bioengineering, different types of crops you do, it's considered as farmers?
We are doing bioengineering to find the bio and make sure that it can be applied to all the crops, not a specific one.
Good. Thank you so much. There is another opportunity to use eyes in Ngwata, and this idea of great tools of food insecurity and rural education.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I want to take you on a tour to Africa. This home you see is hunger-stricken. Its residents are at the risk of joining to the 4,000 people that are at the risk of dying every day in the world. 1 out of 5 people die of hunger every day in Africa. Go hungry every day in Africa. And 50% of deaths, child deaths, are due to malnutrition. This home, obviously, is not electrified, forming part of the 82% of the houses in Malawi that do not have access to electricity. And I, for one, grew up in such a home. There is high energy poverty levels in Africa, as you can see on the energy consumption per capita, looking at it 1 kilowatt hour against 3,100. We can surely do better. With 60% of the world's arable land, Africa remains the net importer of food, still struggling with droughts. You can see that in the news, Zimbabwe, Zambia, and Malawi begging the United Nations for aid. This is where AFS Advocates comes in. AFS is an acronym for Africa Fighting Food and Energy Shortages. We're talking about solar farms combined with crop production all year round without relying on rainfall. Ladies and gentlemen, our solution is a combination of greenhouses equipped with monocrystalline photovoltaic solar panels, fixed on single-axis trackers that follow the sun's movement for maximum energy generation. We also have an energy storage system of lithium-ion batteries that will be able to provide power when the sun is not available. We also have an automated irrigation system that has got sensors, boreholes, and a water distribution network. Ladies and gentlemen, please note that for crops that are outdoor crops such as maize, greenhouses are excluded. Also note that crops do not actually need all the sunlight because they reach a plant saturation point, at which point they also get sunburn just like you and I. Please also note that crops help in cooling the solar panels, and the cooler the panels, the more the energy provides. Ladies and gentlemen, we have identified 25 hectares of land in Malawi for a start, where 10 megawatts of energy are going to be produced and power 40,000 rural homes. Simultaneously, 1,750 metric tons of food in terms of maize and sweet potatoes are going to be produced, feeding 22,500 hungry people to be saved annually.
Thank you.
This is very scalable. Imagine.
That's your 3 minutes. Thank you. Any questions? One question.
Okay. Very scalable. For example, if you this was just 25 hectares of land, and if, for example, if you put it like 1,000 hectares of land, that would give you like food enough to feed about 900,000 people and power approximately 1.6 million rural homes. And if Southern African governments or African governments in general, Sub-Saharan Africa, if they could adopt such a solution, Africa potentially would stop worrying about food insecurity and energy in access. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Let's give advice. Friends, now I have the opportunity to introduce Candace Eslick, Breaking the Wall of Clean Cooking in Africa. Let's give it up for Candace.
Over 2 billion people across low-income households globally rely on polluting fuels like coal and biomass to conduct everyday household activities like cooking and heating, and this situation is exacerbated in Africa. These fuels are typically used in inefficient stoves and emit black carbon and volatile organic compounds, resulting in climate change or contributing to climate change and severe health consequences. And it is typically women and children who bear the responsibilities or are exposed to the vulnerability of collecting and cooking with these materials, often facing increased exposure and a heightened vulnerability to injury and violence. The World Health Organization has promoted the use of clean fuels to address this challenge. One of these fuels is liquefied petroleum gas, or LPG. LPG is a catalyst for energy accessibility, and its use in household activities has the potential to reduce CO2 emissions, but it is still a fossil fuel, with its contribution to greenhouse gases equivalent to that of the aviation industry. Now, this wall presents an opportunity to innovate. At GreenQuest, we are developing green liquefied fuel gas, or green LFG, a synthetic and sustainable alternative to LPG made from combining renewable hydrogen and captured carbon dioxide. The core focus of our work is synthesizing this green LFG from an intermediate chemical called DME, a process of which is not industrially ready. Yet, in our lab, we have shown that we can fully convert all of this DME into a product that is majority green LFG and a side product of green gasoline, which still adds economic value. Building on this success in the lab, we have scaled up to a mini plant that produces 6 kilograms of green LFG, which has been successfully tested in a conventional cook stove, and a 13 kilowatt hour LPG powered generator developed by a local startup here in Cape Town. So, we've got the energy, we've got the heat, and now we move on to field trials as we use green LFG to break the walls of sustainable clean cooking in Africa. Thank you.
Thanks, Candace. Any questions? No questions. What question?
Yes, so our social scientists in this group have indicated that by surveying a local community here in Cape Town, in Philippi, people are very much open to using and integrating LPG and especially a renewable fuel into their homes. So it will be with that group that we will embark on these field trials. So we've already identified a community that is open to this. Thank you. I hope that answers your question. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much. And good night. Thanks. So now I have the opportunity to introduce Eurinah Koeras, Breaking the Wall of Harmful Prostate Therapy. Let's give a hand to her.
Imagine being told that something as natural as aging is a risk factor for a disease affecting millions of men worldwide. 1 in 7 men will develop this disease globally. Prostate cancer and benign prostatic hyperplasia and enlarged prostate are 2 of the most common conditions prevalent in the aging male, accounting for 1.6 million new cases and 366,000 deaths each year. Current therapeutic options include radiation therapy, prostate surgery, and hormone replacement therapy, all presenting with significant side effects, such as sexual dysfunction and urination problems, a reduced quality of life. But what if we could find a better way to manage these conditions? One that minimizes the side effects and improves the quality of life. My research explored a medicinal plant known for its reproductive health benefits. So by using advanced cell culture techniques, I wanted to assess its effects on both normal and cancer cells to see if it could slow the progression of cancer while maintaining normal cell function, as well as to assess its therapeutic potential. I found significantly reduced prostate-specific antigen levels, a key marker for prostate disease. Testosterone levels and biochemical markers linked to testicular health was also improved, showing its hormone regulating and protective effects. Most importantly, promising cytotoxic activities targeting those cancer cells while sparing the normal cells was also observed. Now, this is exactly what makes my research contribution so exciting, because this plant can offer a natural alternative to those conventional treatments without those harsh side effects. So instead of harming healthy cells and disrupting the hormone balance, we could offer a safe and more effective treatments that support prostate health in a gentle and a sustainable way. My research is not only about prostate cancer, but also about improving the quality of life in men worldwide. So by breaking the wall between natural medicine and modern sciences, we could offer men safer and more effective treatment options, because prostate cancer patients should really not have to choose between fighting cancer and maintaining their quality of life. Thank you.
Okay, now I noticed you avoided saying what plants, so that's fine. But the availability of this plant, so is it in specific regions, and how do you gain access to it specifically?
Thank you, sir, for your question. I knew I'm going to be asked the name of the plant. Unfortunately, I have to keep non-disclosure because I'm currently working on patent seed, but it is readily available because obviously the aim behind this is to have it accessible and, most important, affordable, so that it can be reachable, especially to those low-cost income countries. Thank you.
I won't ask you the name of the plant. What I will ask is, do you, and you don't have to give me the name either, but do you know what compound the plant is doing this? And if you were to scale this up for treatment, what sort of format would it come in? Would it be the plant extract, dried plants, or would you have synthesized or isolated whatever compound is responsible?
Thank you. Okay, I'll try to answer your question as holistically as possible. So there are current factors or compounds that have already been isolated, such as your terpenines, your phenolic compounds, etc. There are quite a few. And actually that is part of my plan for postdoc, is to take this a step further. So also look at what other compounds are bioactive in this plant extract. And what I did was, it is in dry format, so I extracted it aqueously because it makes no sense to do a hexane or methanolic extract because the end goal is for human consumption. So I used a pure aqueous extraction in the form of a dry compound because traditional healers diagnose it as a handful per day. So not the handful you must have the whole day, it's a handful that you make as a tea, and then you consume it over a period of time. So it is dried. I hope I answered your question.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Let's get Now I have the opportunity to introduce Ahlisha Chetty, breaking the walls of the world's most infectious disease, tuberculosis. Let's give our hands.
TB is the world's deadliest infectious disease.
killing more people than HIV and malaria combined, and surpassing COVID-19. Almost 3,500 people die of TB every day. South Africans, this isn't a distant problem. It's here, in our streets, our taxis, and our homes. TB exists on a spectrum, from silent infection to active disease. One of our tests, IGRA, is only able to give a yes or no answer to whether your immune system has seen the germ before. It can't tell if you're sick, healthy, or brand new to the infection. And that brand new infection stage is the riskiest for driving someone to TB. This blind spot means we over or undertreat. Some people at little risk take months of toxic drugs, fueling antibiotic resistance. Others, who are in most danger, get nothing. The result? TB keeps spreading and people keep dying. Now, great scientists don't necessarily reinvent the wheel. They refine it. So let me introduce you to IGRA 2.0. We've taken what IGRA does and made it sharper. This refined version uses T-cell activation to detect a protein flag called HLA-DR, a signal that the germ is active in the body. We then use microfluidics, which allows us to see the key gene pathways that are upregulated or downregulated in individuals with disease compared to those without. We are able to track how immune cells respond and capture a fingerprint of exactly what's happening in the body at this particular time. This research is helping us construct a high-resolution map of the TB spectrum, bringing us one step closer to better, earlier diagnostics and the chance to stop recent infection before it turns ugly. If we can see the spectrum, we can break the wall of the deadliest infectious disease.
Okay, any questions?
Yes. If you are looking for people with new infection in a high burden setting like South Africa, the Western Cape, people are exposed when they're kids, right? So, but they're still protected by BCG. So my question is, usually the problem arises when they acquire HIV. So in terms of the impact, where most of our TB mortality is the people living with HIV, how is this going to factor in the overall exceeding social laws?
So one of the cool things about my panel is it's specifically targeting the genes that are upregulated or downregulated in TB specifically. So what we did is we combined global TB data sets and we specifically targeted TB genes. And so in a context like South Africa, where we are HIV prevalent and very high mortality rates of the HIV, my test is then able to specifically look at people with TB disease. And so the result of this is then that we can identify those people early, so before they spread the infection, before they progress to disease. And the impact of that would be that we catch them early. So we keep breadwinners at work, we keep children in school, fewer families lose loved ones.
One final question to do? No? Okay, thank you so much, Ahlisha.
Wow. I think those were our participants. Can we give one final round of applause to them? It's super great. I'm pretty sure some of us are a bit hungry, needs a drink. So the restrooms are on that side. So we're going to take a short networking session while the judges goes through and to deliberate on that side. And so while we head to go and network, I'm not doing a bad job. So you would have noted sub-schoolers here, and they look very beautiful. And I'm sure they love to be at UCT when they die one day. Also, Stellenbosch is around the corner. You can also go there, don't worry. But we have portable primary school, we have Williams secondary school, we have Kamboletu senior secondary, and we have Bel-Ange technical high school. And they participated in the Expo Young Scientists, so we have a bunch of young scientists in the room. Some of them are finalists, some of them won amazing things, and they've put up their projects at the back, and they would really appreciate it. You can just make a turn, ask a little bit, and hopefully one day they come to stand on this stage. So thank you guys, enjoy it.
Hi Gareth. Why is it important for the City of Cape Town to partner with us for Falling Walls Cape Town?
The City of Cape Town has among its 5 values innovation. And we want our organization and the partners we work with to take calculated risks in order to solve some of the most pressing challenges that both our city but broader region are faced with every single day. Those include things like inequality, climate change, and poverty. Partnerships are very, very important for the City of Cape Town. Our city is arguably the innovation capital of Africa, and hence it's very, very important for us to be associated with great institutions such as the design school here at UCT around fostering a culture of innovation.
What excites you most about the breakthroughs that you've seen so far?
I've been very, very excited about the diversity of the pitches that I saw earlier on this afternoon, whether it be food security or mental health challenges or other health challenges, solving, for example, the problem of school shoes wearing out. I found the pitches remarkable. I'm sure that many of them will go far and that some of them potentially will be scalable.
And how do you vision your partnership with Falling Walls and FNF going in the future?
We're very happy to partner with Falling Walls and the Friedrich Naumann Foundation on innovation. There's great alignment between our respective organizations on this particular topic. So I can see many years of collaboration and partnerships on sharing ideas, and perhaps some of these ideas here might find resonance in the City of Cape Town going forward.
Hi, Anya.
Hi.
Why did FNF choose to support Falling Walls Cape Town?
You know, we are a German political foundation and a liberal one. And as I said in my welcome note here, we feel as liberals that technology will save the world. There's a lot of problems in the world, especially in the field of environment and in the fields of health. And what we've seen today, the pitches by the young minds, it's really solutions to problems, and that gives hope.
How do you see partnerships like this shaping the future for Africa?
This is a really very good example of a great partnership, what we're having here with the Falling Walls Lab. First, we're in a partnership with the Falling Walls Foundation in Berlin, and as a German foundation, it's important for us to also have a link to Germany. Now, we're in Cape Town for this Falling Walls Lab. Well, Cape Town is known as a world-class city worldwide, and there's more and more people, also from Germany and from everywhere, coming, because this is an ecosystem for startup, and people are using it as a platform. And on top, we are partnering with the top university, which is the University of Cape Town. So this makes it richer for all of us. So partnerships are the way to go.
And what's one highlight from today's event that really inspired you?
I loved it that we are always innovating, and that's thanks to Kwesi. And what I really liked today, that we had young learners here, so they're coming from different schools. And I just visited their stands, and of course they're not yet there where our candidates are, but they had research questions, they presented their research, and I think it's great for them to observe what's been happening here today and for us to interact with them.
So, and then one last message for young innovators that may have presented today or others that might come in the future.
We really admire what you're doing here. You're the change makers in the world, and please go on looking into science to make it a better world for our children.
Great. I trust you all enjoyed the networking session, that you got to meet some new people. And I also hope that you enjoyed the young scientists there at the back. Yeah. Sure, they have some great ideas, right? Yeah. Good. Now I think the moment we've been waiting now. Are we ready? Yeah. Great. I'm sure we've got the sports already. I'm going to call Kwesi to do the wonderful honor for us to announce our great innovators, and I mean we're all innovators who presented today. But Kwesi, over to you.
Yeah, this way.
I think I'm going to need some of that therapy. I just want to say congratulations to our presenters today. I think the quality has been so high. I don't think we've been doing this a couple of years, and we've had a couple of finalists that have made it into the top 3 globally. So when we say that the quality today was high, we actually really mean it. So you guys deserve a round of applause, and all of you are winners. This year we had over 70 applicants. It might not sound a lot, but we had to exclude a lot of people who were not qualifying, and we had to minimum it down, and then our selectors had to work through it. It took them about a couple of weeks just to finalize it down to you guys. So you guys are the top in the whole country, so you really deserve to be here, and we're so happy that you guys made it, and wish you all the best. And we know this is not the last time that we are going to see your work out in the field, so well done. And thank you to our judges as well. We know it is sometimes a daunting task to have to judge such high quality presentations, but I'm sure you guys have done an amazing job, and we'll keep you guys in the loop to let you know how they do it brilliant. So well done to you guys as well. So in no particular order, we are going to start by just the certificate of participation. I'm going to ask firstly Courtney Hodgeson to come up. Thank you. Next up, Timmy Joji. Next up, we have Charne Verster. Next up, we have Ahlisha Chetty. And next up we have Isaac Ngwata. Okay, the top 3 know themselves, but they don't know who they are. They know who they are, but they don't know their order. Can I get, and I'm also not sure, can I get the right names? Thank you. Okay, this is not going to be a Steve Harvey moment. And in third place, Rahul Rama-Panchia. second place. Drum roll, please. Joelle Tsopze. She says she thought I forgot her. Okay, no. Well done. And so obviously, in first place, Candice Estrid. And can I also have Eurinah Koeras come up? Well done, Eurinah. And can I also have a round of applause for our kids? The kids are up there. Our kids come from Mitchell's Plain. Mitchell's Plain, where are you? There's Mitchell's Plain, Strand. And I'm forgetting that one more school. It's Strand, Mitchell's Plain, Strand, and? Paul. And Paul. I'm going to give all of you. So thank you to everyone that came today. We really appreciate your time, investment. We are going to be having some time for pictures. So we had some pictures with the judges, but I still one of you for interviews. So if I tap you on the shoulder, that means I've got your time, please, for an interview. But I hope you guys enjoyed it. This year was really special for us because for the first time, we were able to bring on a few partners, City of Cape Town, a design school with an amazing thing. But also, we also have UCT, Faculty of Science as well. And we hope that these are partnerships that we're going to continue for the long run. We also want to acknowledge the German consulate for coming. Thank you so much for coming and gracing us. And also thank you for the audience today. And one round of applause for our participants. Yeah, last one. Can I also just have Dr. Samantha Duman, Dylan, and John as well. You guys, you can just stand and wave wherever you are. There's data. So those are the three selectors. Their job is to basically choose who the top 10 is going to be. And I always annoy them. And I say, guys, I need the top 10 now. I need the top 10 now. So I think they did an amazing job, as you can see with the quality of the presentation that we got. So well done to you three. Thank you so much. I also want to thank the design school and the team from the design school that is here. They in the background, Junaid and your team. Thank you so much for your support and for working in the background and for giving us this amazing venue. I think you guys can see this is one of the best venues that we've had. So we really appreciate it. So thank you so much to the design school and Junaid's team. And then also to my team, FAF, Kelly's birthday.
Happy birthday to you.
Kelly, Maddie, or William, Wayne, Tova, everyone that's here from FNF, Julia, big girls, everyone, you were here. So really appreciate the team from FNF and also Reagan and Denise, who are running behind the scenes with being assisting with logistics and putting this event together. So also thank you to you and your team. Thank you, everybody. And we're just going to ask for a picture with our finalists. All of you, please, the judges and Inga and the team. So just one last picture here, and then we are going to go. Thank you so much.
Rahul, can you briefly tell us about your breakthrough, its title, and what it's about?
So our team presented Street Smarts, an AI-powered mobile game designed specifically to teach children about bodily safety to begin.
How does it feel to be named in the top 3 of Falling Walls Cape Town?
To be honest, as a third-year medical student, competing at this level with people with masters and PhDs, it does kind of feel surreal, and it I think it gives my team also the validation that what we're working towards is something worth our effort and time.
Right. What inspired you to pursue this idea?
So this actually Genesis occurred at the Harvard House's Innovation Lab hackathon here in April. And what we thought would be a 2-day event turned out to us winning and then competed globally from 50 teams to 20 to 10 and into top 6. And from then on we realized like if we're doors we open, we'd like to work through it, and we know that the impact it has or will be immense, so we're just pushing through and we're trying to get into fruition.
Amazing. What was the most valuable part of your participation in today's event?
I think first, number one, I'd recommend this to anybody despite level of education. I think number 2, shoot for the stars, and the fact that you're in the same conversation of all of these great kids that are doing brilliant things. I think it helps you realize your own potential, and also the fact that you may be networking with some of the future leaders or the future innovators. I think overall good experience that helps you develop different skills in the way you develop talk. Has also manipulating your words to give it to someone in the quality who may not necessarily understand the in-depth nuances of your specific niche topic.
What impact do you hope your project is going to have?
Sure, that's a very big question, and I think I should answer this in the short term. I hope that in the next 5 years, Street Smarts will be available at all schools across the nation, and free way for parents and children to use in order to discuss and learn about this vital matter that is child abuse and vulnerability. And then in terms of scalability wise, I think this is a valuable tool that can be used in other countries with a high burden of this. So we're talking about like Tsopze and in there who have the same status as 1 in 3 will experience physical or sexual abuse before 18. So this is a solution for the world, and we'd hopefully like to get it there.
So, thank you so much. Hi, Joelle. Joelle, please, well done for making it to the top 3.
Thank you very much.
Can you briefly tell us about your breakthrough? What's the name of your presentation and what it's about?
Okay, the name of my breakthrough was breaking the wall of sustainable agriculture under drought. We all know that the climate is changing, and one of the worst consequences that is destruction is the stress which is affecting the productivity and the culture. What can we do with that? So the aim of my project is to find a solution to solve that.
Thank you. How do you feel about making it into the top 3?
I was surprised. I even told you when you called my name, I thought you forgot about it. So I'm very happy, and I'm glad that my innovation can take further industry.
What inspired this innovation?
So I'm coming from Ndongmo as well. So the country, half part of the country is disease. So we have to continue in that region. So it's our duty as scientists to find a solution to solve that problem. Otherwise, we will take will be continue to suffer around the world. So I came in Cape Town and I found out, okay, they don't have that. We do have that. So in my life, I forced my supervisor to accept my project to go with them.
Amazing. What advice would you give to young innovators and scientists?
I would say being passionate first about what you are doing. And the passion mostly coming from a childhood. So it has to be something that is deeply in your heart. If it's coming from a part, you make your best to do well before.
And now that you've made the top 3, what next do you see for yourself and your projects?
I hope I will be able to find investors to invest in our project and push it further to the market, so that we'll be able to produce first a biostudio and nutritional pump for our soil, and also sustain the agriculture in the future. No matter if the climate is changing or not, then we'll be able to produce something that we have for us at the future. Yeah.
What excites you most about being a judge at Falling Walls?
So I love being a judge at Falling Walls. It's so nice to see so many young people come up with such fantastic projects. The way they present them is great, the innovation is great, and some of these ideas have the potential to change the world.
You're currently our longest serving judge. What stood out for you about this year's presentations?
This year, I think everybody was fantastic. The quality of the presentations this year was absolutely amazing. They all did such a good job.
And then specifically about the winner?
So obviously as judges, we had to deliberate long and hard and think about exactly, who to give the one and only first prize to. And I think she did an amazing job. She spoke very well, and her whole idea is, it's innovative and it has impact not just in South Africa, but also it'll have impact worldwide.
And why do you think events like this matter for Africa and for South Africa, for innovation? Why do they matter?
Science matters. Communicating science matters. It doesn't really matter what form you do it in, but it's important to not just sit in our silos and talk about science and research, but also get the ideas out there. Let people look at scientists and see that, we look just like everyone else. We're not weirdos and lab coats. And so I think for engaging communities, because they're the ultimate stakeholders, is very, very important for science anywhere.
How do you see these breakthroughs shaping the future?
Wow, that's a hard question because, like I said, these innovations, they can change the world. So even the ones who didn't win, I think the people will take forward their ideas and they will do something with them. So, we have innovations that will affect climate change, that address infectious diseases. So all of these things are all very pertinent to our world as it is now, and especially Africa.
And we had little kids coming here today. What's your advice to future applicants and the younger generations coming up?
So I absolutely love doing science outreach for school children and the learners. So I volunteer at ESCOM Expo actually, and it is so nice to see them also with their, innovative ideas. They're so young, and you look at the amount of work and thought that they have put into their projects, whatever they are. So my advice to them is keep going, don't lose hope. Apply yourself, do your best, and don't give up on science.
And then what does falling walls or breaking walls mean to you? Because
as a woman in science, we often talk about the glass ceiling, how there's so many challenges. And to put it another way, the glass ceiling is just another wall to break. So in that way, it's very personal. There are not enough women in science. There's so many women who do their PhDs, and then they sort of drop off along the way. So as one of the kids, it's really important to me to see the potential of women in science, to see them become professors, to see them head universities.
First, Candice, well done. How do you feel about being named the winner of Falling Walls Cape Town 2025?
I feel totally ecstatic, I can't believe it. And I'm really, really excited to go to Germany and share this research with the world. Yeah.
Can you tell us what the title of your presentation was and the idea behind it?
So the title of my talk was called Breaking the Wall of Sustainable Clean Cooking in Africa. And essentially what we're trying to do in our research is develop a clean cooking fuel to replace polluting solid fuels typically used in low-income communities. And so by integrating this fuel into low-income households, typically women and children will have new opportunities for educational and economic arts. Yeah.
So what inspired you to pursue this particular idea?
Well, I've always had a very deep interest in green energy, and thanks to my supervisor and our project and our funders, this allowed me this beautiful platform to pursue this project. Yes.
And what impact do you hope your work will have?
I hope that it will not only inspire maybe other researchers to pursue this green energy path, to know that whatever you're interested in is possible, but on a real front line, I hope that we do see this fuel out in communities and in everyone's homes. That is my big dream one day.
And a little bit about yourself. Tell me what inspired you to go into the sciences and to, as a woman scientist, what inspired you to enter into that space?
Well, I've always been someone that lives limitless. I live every day like it's a food day, like every day is your birthday. And I think there's just so much power in science, and there's just so much that you can do for the world in science. And that is my way of giving back to the community, using relationships in academia and theory and engineering and research and the general knowledge about social sciences to use all of that, combine it, and give back to the community. That's what inspires me.
That's amazing. And how do you feel about your participation in Falling Walls?
I feel really privileged to have been in this position. It's honestly something that when I woke up this morning, I was like, wow, this is such an incredible opportunity, and it's an opportunity that most people dream of doing. So I'm extremely, extremely grateful. I do not take it very light. So it really means a lot to me.
Okay. And what next for you and your innovation? I mean, you're going to Berlin, you're going to meet some amazing people. So what's next for you and your innovation here?
So the next step for our innovation is to do field trials. On top of that, we are going to upscale the production of green energy. So the next part involves securing further funding so we can build a pilot plant to synthesize and make more green energy.
Awesome. And if you could send one message to the next generation, I mean, you saw there were young kids here. So what's your message to the next generations of emerging scientists and innovators?
I would say stay true to your heart. You know your worth. Keep studying. Hard work pays on, for sure.